Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading for the week of January 13th to the 19th. So I started with a really interesting image the guides gave me, and I think it actually is probably what I'm going to remember at the end as I tie this up for you, but I have to present it to get it out. There is a picture of a clock, and the clock on the outside is going forward. The clock on the inside, that is actually within this clock that's moving forward, is a clock that's going backward. And the first card that I pulled for you was past, present, future. So I'm looking at that as really, really relevant, and that would be, I would say, your anchor card for everything else that goes on with this reading. Now, the sense that I got with this card, or the explanation that I got with it, I think would be more accurate to say, was that the idea was, it looks as though these two clocks are stationary. And one is moving forward and one is moving backward, and they could almost cancel each other out. But what it's showing me actually is that what it's creating is almost neutral space. And that far from being stationary and static because it's neutral, the fact that these two clocks now almost are canceling each other out in their movement and creating this neutral space is actually the very thing that is moving you forward. So as I pulled the cards to get an explanation of how that might play out in your life, this is what I'm getting for some of the Gemini collective. It seems that there was probably some kind of abandonment issue that happened perhaps fairly early on in your life. And again, when we say abandonment, it doesn't mean given up for adoption or anything of that nature. It could, but it can be something completely different. I know certainly in some cases it's being sent away to boarding school, or it can be having a parent die. It can be many, or even having a parent who's sick and not available. To a child, that can feel like abandonment. So there is something here that is resonating with the theme of abandonment, and I'm going to read the abandonment card for you. Okay, the abandonment card says, abandonment isn't just the experience of being left. It carries with it a much deeper sense of desertion, of being left vulnerable without the support or tools we need in order to survive, either emotionally or physically. So understand that when this happens to a child, before there is the ability to really process it cognitively, it can create that sense of vulnerability without it actually being defined as either of those things, but it creates a sense of insecurity if it becomes part of what really shapes them and their experience of who they are in relation to the world. So what that can create is a tendency to struggle with the ability to connect or to choose relationships that are solid. It can create a pattern. And that's what you're being asked to look at here, is what are the patterns around love that started early on. But what I'm also getting here is that it's very possible that there has been a recent abandonment issue for you in some way. And that by looking at that, by being able to look at that and understand that, that actually has created the opportunity for you to open up and start understanding love in a different way. Because when we're looking at love from unfulfilled love or unfulfilled primary conditions as a kid, our perception of love now is going to be based on that more immature view of it, and less rich, less deep. When we can understand that, when we can break through and really experience the nature of abandonment and what it means at a deeper level, and really release the energy around that, then what that allows us to do really is clear that field of energy so we stop attracting it to people, we stop attracting the people that will perpetuate that. But it also, what it does is it releases something in terms of our perception of ourself, which is why it changes how we will have our relationships change around us, right? Because our relationships around us are always a reflection of our relationship to ourselves. So that's what it feels like to me, is that you have actually had the opportunity through experiencing some aspect of abandonment that has allowed you to really start redefining what love is, what it has been for you, where it's been too little in your life, where you've allowed too little, where you've had relationships where you basically fell into them because you were chosen as opposed to deliberately choosing them. And that by doing that, one of the things that it really allows you to do now is to start learning how to love from a more emotionally intelligent place, from a place of confidence, and from a place of knowing yourself differently. Okay, it's very much about self-awareness. And that in turn allows you to get out of whatever kind of struggles that has placed on you in your life through relationship, through dealing with the emotions, the emotional fallout of it, and also through dealing with the barriers that you then put up for other kinds of relationships or against vulnerability for yourself. What you're really being told here is risk success. Take a chance. Look, it's okay. It's why not? Who says? Who's told you it's going to be that way? If it's you, then check in on it. Okay? If it's something you learned by somebody saying, oh, you can never trust men, or women are always like this, check in with those voices and listen. Who's saying that? Because really, do you really believe that? Is that something you really need to carry? And if this is a story you've been telling yourself, risk success. Take a chance that something is, and look, quantum leap of faith as well. This is all saying by allowing yourself to heal the past. And I believe that that's part of what that clock is about. It's in the present. Let yourself go back in time and look at what you need to look at to release these patterns of struggle in the nature of love and around abandonment. Okay? Play. Okay? Play is a very light energy. And I find it interesting because you could have gotten grace. You could have gotten a lot of different things. And in fact, you might, because we're going to pull another card here. Oh my God. Grace. Okay. I swear, I didn't plan that. So you've got play and you've got grace, which are two really, really, really high frequency cards. Play is, again, going back to childhood, isn't it? It's reclaiming that sense of being, I just love it, of being able to play is spontaneous. Its goal is fun and laughter and enjoying the moment. It might be silly and doesn't worry about what things look like. It risks seeming silly and immature. It can be loud or quiet. It's often found in creativity. Everything you do can be done with an attitude of playfulness. So I feel like that's kind of going back for whoever who was kind of locked out of the ability to play when you were kids. That's definitely for you, but also just from anybody who is dealing with situations from the past that can be heavy. When you can take, if not a playful attitude towards dealing with it, if you can bring play into your life concurrently with dealing with the heavy stuff, it makes it a lot easier. But I really want to read you the grace card now, but I'm going to put it there in case you want to take a screenshot of it, because I just love this. Grace has a smooth, easy, peaceful, and supportive quality. It flows naturally into us and through us. It's an experience of letting the benevolent universe take us through our movements and guide us with a loving hand. Notice the feeling quality of this description and return to it today. Every time you're about to do or think about anything, so even going back into your past, or at any point in the day when you find yourself feeling stressed and thinking too much, lean into grace. And then you've got, again, quantum leap of faith. This means that beyond logical expectation, beyond the linear projections of our minds, there is a place of free fall. Here you trust that what feels like leaping into the unknown void is really sailing on the winds of the infinite, unlimited benevolence, which will guide you wisely to your best and most graceful landing. So graceful landing and grace. My loves, you are getting all the encouragement you need to go back and say, what has been hobbling me? What has been hobbling me in my ability to really experience love and to build a structure of love in my life that is supportive? Who says why not? Let go of those old voices. Risk success. Dealing with this, take a chance, act as though everything you do might be the best possible choice. Commit to it, engage in it, willing to take the chances that will move you forward to whatever success you desire, or even the fulfillment of ones you have not yet identified. Question what it is you want. You might have a perfectly content life, but have you not had the kind of love you want in your life because you haven't thought it was possible, or because you feared more abandonment, or because you have just come to identify yourself with that old story? So you're getting so much encouragement here, so much encouragement to really use the past and whatever was there as the opportunity to really redefine love in your life, and your ability and opportunity and your right to have it, and that you're getting the support from the universe to do that. And please understand, we're talking about these things, and I think it's just so important for all of us who are, you're coming to these channels to look and to learn. It's not just about the psychology of things. It's that as we heal ourselves, we really truly do heal the world. And I truly do believe that as we are able to accept more love and open our hearts, that's also when we start loving the world more, and being able to take care of not just ourselves and our own well-being, but of the planet. And that the more we radiate and come from that centered place of love, the more positively we affect not only our life, but everybody else's. So it's not a selfish thing to do. It is actually a very courageous thing to do. And you are being encouraged to do it, telling you you've got the support. As always, if there's big trauma, if there's heaviness with this that you don't feel, leaning into grace and play and trusting in faith is going to be enough. Get the help that you need if you're ready to face this stuff. And if you're not, then just know the energy is there, and all you have to do is decide if at some point you'd like to be ready to face it. And if the answer is yes to that, then you can just allow for it to happen in its own time, and just, have the intention that it will happen easily, that it doesn't have to be big drama. It can happen gratefully. I have some clients who process so much of their stuff in their sleep state through their dreams. So, and that's just coming to me now as I'm saying that to you. So I also feel that journaling for you could be really valuable, and you can program yourself to remember your dreams. So, excuse me, there are many things on YouTube that can help guide you to do that. I won't go into that now, but that might be a nice way for you to kind of ease into it, is to start programming yourself to dream and to journal. Journaling is beautiful for getting the more information from the subconscious and allowing the wiser self to talk to you. You can think of it almost as like an automatic handwriting, okay? I leave you with that, Gemini. It's a great reading, and I really, really believe that many of you are probably already in the process of doing this, okay? Take care. If you care to like, share, subscribe, comment, all are grateful, and I imagine I'll be back next week. So take care.